again. So this may sound very simple. Because here, I like this. This is Homer Simpson, of course. Anybody been watching the Homer Simpson marathon? Your brain started to melt yet? I haven't been watching it. I'm afraid my brain will melt. So basically, you know, we have a clear picture in mind, but through implementation, it doesn't always come up. That's what we want. So, okay, this is right out of your book, Ken Wannabe. Remember, that's where we're taking a lot of this stuff from. Even made the PowerPoint to look like the book. Like that. So let's talk about a student who has bad math grades. I already heard the talk about algebra earlier. So, like a lot of people, it goes, what do I need to do? Well, I've got to raise my grades. Hope for the best. That's what I'm going to tell them. My grades are terrible in math. I'm going to raise my grades and do better. Is that going to solve your problem? That's like, the new year's coming. I'm going to go on a diet and lose 20 pounds before Christmas. Is that going to help? Just stating what you're going to do is not going to help. So pretty obviously that if you made that statement to fix your problem, that you know, they would never get any better because you haven't got to the root cause. You know, the root cause is, you know, is not that I have bad grades. All right, that's a symptom. All right, a symptom of why, and of course you want to raise them, but you know, just having bad grades is not a symptom. Why do you have bad grades? What about this? Maybe I decide that I'll quit soccer so I have more time to study. I'll quit doing other stuff so I have more time to study. And it says that even with this drastic action, his grades may not improve. It may not be how long he studies. It may be his comprehension. So just saying you're going to give up something and try harder and make more time. Studying may not be the issue. It may be how well he studies. So let's look at what a problem-solving kid, what they're going to do. Okay? First of all, I'm going to break it down. And we start with, my math grades are going down. Well, are all of my math grades going down? Maybe just certain areas are going down. And so we look here and we say, well, I'm keeping up with fractions, you know, and I'm doing pretty good in algebra, but I'm missing all my geometry questions. Okay? So now we've determined my grades are not good in math because of geometry, not just they're not good in math. What part of math? Okay? So, why am I getting them wrong? We have reason A, B, and C, whatever those are. We're going to get to those. Well, I've determined I've got 3 topics. All right? And trapezoid, cylinder, and Pythagorean theorem. This is what's killing me. I don't understand this. And this is dragging the rest of my math grade down. So I've eliminated the fact that it's not actually geometry. It's these 3 parts of geometry. So you're going to write it out and break it down into its individual parts, because no matter how complicated a task, it's simply a collection of smaller pieces that you do to complete the task. Okay? You know, he talks about he could wake up earlier and practice these types of problems. He could get a better textbook. I like this one. Ask his teacher or friends to help him go over his most challenging problems after school, or ask his parents to hire a tutor. And by the way, the topic of math came up. We have free math tutors on campus. I've used them when I was going. I've done it. All right. I had college algebra. Fortunately, the guy down the hall from me was a tutor over here, so I worked with him, and I would just go to his office after work. So that worked out well. So he's breaking it down, okay? We typically call this kind of a logic tree. It's a visual tool that helps develop when you're trying to identify all potential root causes of a problem and generate a variety of solutions. You try one, if it doesn't work, you go back and try another. Okay? We're going to break it down using the logic tree. And of course, you group similar items under the same branch. So, how would we break down third graders? All right? Well, first of all, let's divide them by the most obvious point. We got boys and girls. Okay? Well, what else can we divide third graders by? Well, what about right-handed, left-handed, or both? Notice I didn't try to pronounce that word. What else could we could divide them up by? What about people that are taller than 4 feet or shorter than 4 feet? Okay. So, you know, whatever it is, you got to start breaking it down. Here's another example. We're going to break it down by the clubs that people are in school. All right? Everybody here, when they went to high school, they were in a club or did something. Or I did football and drama. I don't know how that works out. I was the lighting technician.
Closely related.
I didn't actually act. I was the techie guy that ran all the lights. And, well, first there's these people here that don't do anything in the school club. That was my brother. Go off behind the bleachers, do God knows what. He does good now. There's other words I could use to describe them. We all know what they were called in schools. They were quiet here. So we break it down into sports, art, games, others. Notice this is split up. It's a continuation. Well, we have ball games. We have team sports, individual sports, others. We got swimming, track, field. Then under games, we have acting, band, choir. I don't know why they put the chess club and others, but I don't know, they always separate them out. I used to play chess. I wasn't in a chess. We didn't have a chess club. So, how do you increase the amount of pepper that comes out of a pepper shaker? Now, I know this is probably in your book, so before you look at it, don't look at it. Let's do a logic tree. We're going to come up with as many ideals as possible. And before this was brought up. And assume humidity is not an issue. Okay? So we're perfect. So you can leave out the word about rice and stuff. Because once I took that out because it got really in-depth, so I typed that in last time. So how do we increase how much pepper comes out of a pepper shaker without changing the strength or speed you use to shake the bottle?
How much you tilt it over?
Increase the whole size.
Well, I don't want to do this. I don't know how this works. So you're going to get in groups. All right. How about this? Let's do small groups. You're on the back row of group. This is group. This is group. Simple enough. And I'm going to pause the audio while we do this. Okay. So we pretty much all came up with the same solutions for this. Put them on the board. There were a couple that were different. Might help if I... Here we go. Now you can see what I'm talking. And you have this in your book. You pretty much all came up with the same thing. I wish you knew why this was bleeding out on me. Look how white that is. I wish you knew how to fix that. You may have to have a problem-solving exercise on how to work the projector. It used to work. I don't know what happened. But here, just shows you drawing a picture. You can change the hole size, increase the number of holes, reduce the size of the pepper grains. Okay? So now we're on to the section. Anybody ever have tofu?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
I had it over there in the cafeteria the other day, and I was scared to try it. Which, for cafeteria food, they're actually pretty good. Trust me. I've had a lot worse. So, anyway. So we're going to start talking about a rock band. We got Miss Mushroom, Eggplant, Tofu. Well, they call themselves the Mushroom Lovers. They rock. You get that? They rock. So the story goes, a few years back, Miss Mushroom, two of her friends, Eggplant and Tofu, they decided to form a rock band. And they called it Mushroom Lovers. So they come up with a thing, and they were going to do a concert at the high school gym next Saturday, and they're going to do it every month. Okay? So they've set a goal. That's what they're going to do. Problem being, how do you reach that goal? That's what they want to do. So we're going to break down the steps they went through to get there. Well, first of all, they formed the rock band, but they didn't know how to play any musical instruments, which is detrimental to a rock band, right? Let me see something really quick here. All right. Just trying to see where I'm at over here in my schedule. So Tofu, he pipes up and says, they won't let us use the gymnasium. Students never get to use that for personal use. And what kind of person would say that? Going back to the beginning of the class. Maybe a critic could fall under that. The side. That made Miss Mushroom pretty mad. So a couple months go by, 3 months to be precise, and they've put on 3 concerts. They're small concerts, all right? So Miss Mushroom goes around yelling, you know, why we only got 15 people in the concert, right? She's mad, and of course, she hasn't figured it out. Eggplant and Tofu are in love with Miss Mushroom. So the rock band is destined to break up eventually. For now. So they said we're going to find the root cause of our problem, why we don't have any attendance to our concert, and we're going to fill up the gym next time. Okay, so is their problem that they don't, that what is their problem they only have 15 people at the concert?
No, I think the problem is probably can't sing.
Well, maybe. Maybe the problem is, why do we have low attendance?
Yeah.
They only told a few people that was in the class that they were in, and they're expecting, I guess, those people to tell all the other people, and now maybe half of them, so they don't even know they're having a concert. Then the ones that do know they're having the concert went there, maybe they don't like the music, so they got them back.
Yeah. So they sit down and they identify the root cause of the problem. And you listed a few of the reasons. So right now, first of all, we said that, well, maybe they don't know who's going. They don't even know about it. Maybe they don't like the music they're singing. Of course, they're not going to attend. Maybe they can't sing, and it wouldn't matter what they were singing. It's so horrid that nobody wanted to show up. That is a possibility.
Maybe Saturday afternoon isn't a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a little logic tree. And they did whether eventually, I don't know, they're going to do a survey. So first of all, they split the school up into two sections, like students and teachers. All right? Are they aware of the concerts? Well, the logic tree ends right here, because if they're not aware of the concerts, there's nowhere else to go with it. And it stops. Oops. So if people know about them, they ask, have they ever been? All right? And then there's two groups of people that know about them. They've either been or they haven't. I split it up one more time. But if they've never been, it stops there. So if they've been to the concert, do they always go to the concert? And that splits it up again, people who always attend and people who don't. Notice they left these in a C and D. So people who always attend the concert, and then people who have attended once but stopped. So what they're doing is they're making a yes-no tree. They're making sure that every problem falls into a bucket. We're breaking down in categories, and then we can work on each category. Are you with me? So here are the questions that they've asked. All right? We kind of find out where they fall, and you can't leave anybody out, right? So here are the numbers. Are these numbers? No, they don't have the numbers yet. That's the next slide. But basically, they ask this question, and they make sure that they account for every person. Now, a lot of this is done in marketing, all right? So let's say, who eats at Chick-fil-A? All right? Everybody raise their hand. Who doesn't eat at Chick-fil-A? All right. So that splits it up into two group categories. Let's say, well, you guys that don't eat at Chick-fil-A, you've fallen into that bucket where you must just like beef. So everybody else that eats at Chick-fil-A, do you eat there every Saturday? All right. Nobody? All right. How do you eat there once a week? I usually do because there's one next to my office. All right. What days do you eat on? You eat at night? Eat during the evening? Do you want to fight the traffic going down Rogers on Saturday to go eat at Chick-fil-A? How many people eat at Chick-fil-A on Sunday? Nobody, because they're not open. They're not open.
Great question.
Just make sure you people that said you did knew. It only takes once driving by there on Sunday to go, no! So, but they account for every person, every category of people, and marketing would be like, well, how many people eat at a restaurant? Well, we typically serve people between the age group of 16 and 25 are typically who eat at our restaurant. All right, and this is what they eat. All right. What about the people between 25 and 50? Well, they occasionally eat at a restaurant, but they don't pick these spicy things off the menu. Okay. So restaurants are going to cater and expand on the larger population segment. If they have more young people eating at the restaurant, they are going to have things that young people like. They're going to have deals on spicier food. They're going to have drinks. On the other hand, if maybe it's like Furs, They're not trying to attract young people. They're trying to give them a bargain. And you know, a lot of these, they're trying to attack older people, and you know, people that are older, they're watching their salt intake. So when you go to fairs, the food is very bland. You got to salt it, okay? Well, that's on purpose, okay? That's not their clientele. They're not gonna. They want bland food that people add whatever salt they want to. All right. Do they have a lot of hot and spicy foods? No, it's all pretty bland. It's expected that whoever eats there is trying to watch their salt intake. They clearly label sweets as not as sugar-free. All right, they have a lot of sugar-free. They're older people with diabetes. They're trying to cater to them. Of course, they offer senior discounts and bargains. So that's not their clientele. And I like furs, and but I just know if I go to furs, I'm going to get a salt shake. That's just what the clientele they're going towards. So, how big is the bucket? And we ask, okay, here's another example. Group exercise. Say you've overslept. You were supposed to be up by 6, take a shower, eat breakfast, and catch the 7:08 bus to wherever. So instead, you jump out of bed at 6:53, and as you attempt to brush your teeth by pulling on your jeans at the same time, you think, why didn't I wake up? Did my alarm go off? Is the alarm broken? All right, we've all been there. Maybe I hit snooze too many times. So we're going to break this down. Did the alarm ring? No. Well, let's go yes. It rang, but I couldn't wake up. I heard it, but turned it off. I heard it, but hit the snooze button and fell right back to sleep. Notice our logic tree ends there. On the other hand, did the alarm not ring? Well, is the clock ticking? All right. No. Well, is the battery in place? Well, no, it stops here because the battery was not in the proper place. Yes, the battery is charged. Testing another device is a possible solution. See, we're working down to possible solutions for why the alarm ring. Was the alarm set for 6 a.m.? Reason, I did not set the alarm correctly. See, it ends. Where we answer yes, is the alarm switch turned on? Okay, and you see how we just keep breaking it down. I want to beat a dead horse. We'll get through this PowerPoint. It's not that long. And then we're through the book. You can read the book in one setting. Most of you probably already read the book. So they're going to develop a theory for the likely root cause. Trying to think of a way to explain this. Let's say you want to go see Grandma. She lives 30 miles away, but it's the day after Thanksgiving, all right? Which is what, Black Friday? Yeah, I don't leave the house on Black Friday.
Bad idea.
Like pull the shades, turn off the phone, just in case somebody calls and says, "Would you go?"
Try it one time.
I've done it. I've done it more than once. It was bad each time, and only got worse as the years progressed. The deals are not worth it. So you ask yourself, should I take the train instead of the bus? Because traffic will be bad. There's all kinds of options. You could turn on the radio and listen to the traffic report. You could ask your friend who's going to take the bus to see a football game and ask her about traffic on the way there, so you could Facebook it and text somebody and say, hey, you're going over there, how bad's the traffic, should I get out? And once you have the additional information, you can make your final decision. So all our problems and decisions are about collecting information, right? So some things we can figure out on our own, some things we have to collect information to do. So they come up with a theory. Their theory may be wrong, but they come up with a theory, the mushroom lookers. They determined that the root cause is awareness. People aren't showing up because they don't know about it. It must be low because they didn't try very hard to get the word out. They just simply told a few friends, and they said that even though Miss Mushroom probably didn't invite anybody, because even though she's bossy, she's actually really shy. So they did a survey. I've done these. It's free, SurveyMonkey. Google Forms now has it. You just send out a survey and ask people, and you get questions back. You just ask them certain questions, and you take the number, and you try to figure out which is your biggest problem, which should you tackle first. So they put out a survey, and they ask, what is the biggest problem, and where can we focus? So 95% said, they asked 500 people, and out of those 500 people, 95% said no, they did not know, or 475 said they didn't know about the concerts. 90 people said they knew about it, they just didn't care to go. They found out that nobody that had been to a concert ever stopped coming, okay? And they found out that, of course, we already knew there were 15 people that attended all the time. So once they hear them, they keep coming, so they don't have to really focus on that. First of all, they see that after they did the survey, they need to focus on the fact that nobody knows about them. Okay? So you're collecting information to make better decisions. And you've already done that in Lean, right? What's the first thing? Define, measure, demand. You're going to measure, you're going to collect all this data. Yeah. So they come up with some ideas. And here they go through the survey. I'm going to skip over some of this because we just talked about it. Instead of collecting data from everybody, they did a sample interview of about 5 people who knew about the concert but did not attend, just to see why they didn't show up. Collect the data you need. All right. Some of you have to sort through. In our information age, we can get all tons of data. And sometimes we get so overwhelmed with all the information, we realize that it doesn't help us. So just collect the data you need. All right? Even though it's all out there, I'm saying summarize and pick out the pieces you need. Don't just try to throw it all in there because you'll get lost. Don't collect and analyze data without having the question, what are you trying to answer? So just remember what's first, define or measure. Define. Define the problem. All right. Develop a design plan before you start chasing after information, is what they're telling you. Define the problem. Or you'll end up like this guy, he's kind of sinking in that little hole. So here's a problem-solving design plan. And you kind of split it up in this issue, theory, rationale, activities, information source. All right? So we see that the biggest one that we want to tackle first is most people don't know about the concert. Well, why don't they know about the concert? This is the theory. Well, because we just told a few people. And they decide to ask teachers to conduct a survey, simply a show of hands, and here's our information source. Here we also did a sample interview. We asked people why they know about the concert, why aren't they coming. Some don't like music in general. Well, they asked what music lover wouldn't want to go to a free show. They interviewed 5 people who didn't know about the concert but did attend. So they did a sample interview there. So they did also a sample interview with 5 people that were attending. So what they assumed that if everybody knew about it, that they assumed that about 60% of the people would start coming, about 300 people. But when they looked at their survey data, they found that 30% of the people are already aware of the concerts, not the 5% they had assumed. It appears that the people, Eggplant and Tofu, invited directly, and the people who came to the show talked about it and spread the word. So they, well, I may have told you wrong. Here, oh, this is the actual data they collected. What they assumed was the previous one, I'm sorry. So, huh? All right. So, when they analyzed the data, they found about 30% of the people were aware of it, not the 5% they assumed. So why aren't they coming? Well, I don't know. Why do you think that? Don't play very well.
Maybe the time of the day they're having it.
Time of the day they're having it.
Or the day they're
The
having
day
it.
they're having it.
The day they're having it. Maybe it conflicts with another activity at school. So after the collecting the information, they assume that just letting more people know about it's not going to get people in there. So differences between the actual theory and data, then we'll get to this part. Do you know about the concerts? They assumed about 5% didn't, but 30% answered yes. Have you ever been? They found that only 10% had been. Do you go all the time? They figured that if everybody went all the time, they would continue to go. The actual result was only about 80% of the people went to go. All right. So they come up with some of the people who know about the concerts not attend. They don't know how good we are. They're very good. The showtime doesn't work for their schedule, or they're not interested in music in the first place. So, next they interview the 3 people who stopped coming and asked them why they don't keep coming. All 3 answered, because you guys keep playing the same song over and over again. Their key fact in interviewing these people was they're getting bored with their music in the concert. It's the same thing over and over. All right. Anybody here have rock band where you can sing along like karaoke and stuff? Anybody ever play that? Well, we kind of have a thing going in my house. I don't really play video games, but we have a Wii and we have the rock band. Let me tell you something. Even though you have, I bought it, go down to the discount place and buy all the karaoke CD things for $5 or whatever. Even though you got 20 of them, it still seems that everybody plays the same 5 songs. Oh, we're not going to carry it. And I'm guilty. Well, that's because that's the ones we know, and we're the ones we're good at. But we just repeat it. So develop a large solution base for the problem. And they say that as you go through it, you need to not only raise awareness, but also make people want to continue to go to concerts. They could start talking through the high school radio program, announcing it over the PA. They could even get their song on the radio. So there's all kinds of options I could do. This is so bled out I can hardly see it, but I know it's in your book, so you can just flip to it. I know it's got to be in your actual textbook there. If I knew how to fix that, I would. I tried. So they also do a logic board on method of communication. We have people just telling one another. We have paper, print, message board, TV, radio. You know, they say all of these forms. Of course, you know, they can't afford all of this, so they have to prioritize what they can do. So they've come up with ideas how to get the message out, how to get people to attend. And they've checked off some points on here that the ideals and make people aware and make people want to attend, because you can't just make them aware, they have to make them want to show up. Okay. I know. This is about the third time I've gave this PowerPoint. It's okay, but we're going to do exercises afterwards. All right. Well, see, I'm going to come over here and check how much longer we have. Well, we're going to carry on until I can't take any more.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. We're going to go on 10 minutes. Well, after their findings interview, they decided to change their concert time to 5 p.m. Change 20% of their songs. They're always going to start singing new songs. And they were going to have Tofu tell jokes and stories between song breaks to entertain the crowd. So they're trying to change up things. But they don't have any money because they're students. And I don't know about you, but when I was a student, I was poor. You can't work full time if you're a full-time student. It's almost impossible. So they need to change their ideals and decide which one they should pursue. So they create a matrix. And on that matrix, they're going to rate the impact from high to low. All right? Now, they come up with all of these ideas. And when you do an impact matrix, we're going to do one a little bit. You rate your ideals from high to low on the vertical, and then the horizontal is from easy to hard. All right? Now, what do we want? This makes common sense. We want high impact, easy to do. That's what we want to implement, okay? So they break all of their ideas down, and then they rate them on an impact matrix. And that's in your book, okay? So I think we're going to do an impact matrix. We're going to plot our own matrix here. Hopefully this web link is still working. I'll come up with another idea. Let's go first here, and we're going to